Question 10. What is happening post-elections? So, I think the big thing is I personally thought it was kind of a little overrated. Everybody wants to know.
You're talking about the U.S. election.
Yes,
I have a
the
question
US.
about the Mexican election vote. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, I've already. What's your question?
My question is, from an American point of view, how big of a deal was it? Were Americans worried at all about it, or not really?
The only Americans that were worried about it are Americans that don't come here. So I had a guy, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about like Scheinbaum?" And I'm like, "This is what I told him." I said, "Okay, do you think if whoever gets elected in the U.S. that's going to affect Hawaii?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Well, Cabo is not really part of Mexico.
Yeah.
Plus,
Well,
like,
okay.
I don't really think."
It's an interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think. First of all, I think that Mexicans in general. This is just my. I think that they don't believe their politicians are going to do much, and I think that's too far that way. But I also think Americans believe that whoever gets elected is going to change their life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like two drastic things there, where I don't think the election really does much. However, what did happen from the Mexican election and the U.S. election, but more the Mexican election, was the peso.
Yeah.
So, and that's been advantageous. And I think my personal opinion is that we're going to stay around 20-1, which will be good.
Were you getting a lot of Mexican buyers when the peso was stronger?
No, apparently.
No?
Apparently, my Mexican buyers don't like me. But I would have thought, man, I'm fluent in Spanish. I would have thought I don't have enough. Although Saul's watching this. Saul's a very wealthy Mexican guy that I've dealt with. But I don't have many. I guess I attract more American buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very good time. There was more Mexicans making purchases here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They just weren't doing it with me.
Okay.
Yeah. So U.S. dollar to Mexican pesos up. I think a lot of building, like people, I told this to somebody and they're like, "Oh my God, that means I'm not talking about developers."
Uh-huh.
Because that's more of like, that gets deeper. I'm talking about the guy that had a piece of land and his quote will be maybe, it could be literally 20% cheaper now.
Yeah.
And then if you can lock that in, and we know that, like something like Max Edge, so anyway, building of homes will happen. I always say this, everybody, hey, interest rates. Interest rates, nobody's financing here, but look, it's always going to affect. But the biggest thing for me is the stock market, because this is more of a discretionary purchase. Here, like maybe 10% of the people that buy from me are actually going to live here full time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really vacation home, second home, third home, fourth home. It's a way to diversify. So let's say, this might seem drastic to a lot of people. Let's say you've got $20 million net worth. Let's say $15 million of that is in the stock market. Stock market goes up and now you are at $17 million.
Mm-hmm. You
might feel that the stock market is inflated a little bit. I don't think it's a bad idea, whether that's here or in the US or whatever market. I saw a guy who likes farmland. Take that out and put it into a tangible asset, a hard asset like real estate. I think, so that's why I'm saying follow the stock market. Interest rates, I mean, it's like voodoo and it inevitably will affect everything, but no Americans really are financing here, so I don't think it affects as much. I think the stock market is a better indicator or a barometer of bullishness.
Yeah, interest rates may affect them indirectly.
And interest rates will affect the stock market.
Exactly.
But I actually think instead of like people are like, I think if you watch the stock market and you see it hitting all-time highs, you're like, okay, this is a very good thing.
Do you expect getting more interest from people that have most of their, or at least a big chunk of their money in crypto now that it's picking up again?
That's a good question. And I don't mind being very blunt about it. Most of the people that come to me and say they have crypto are full of shit.
Okay.
They don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one guy was like this, and he was very secretive. And then all of a sudden he was looking at like a $200,000 So I think there are young people that have crypto, and I think it will. But in my experience, I think of the guy who's in Austin, Texas, that I'm working from. That's a business guy. Like, these are the guys that I'm doing business with, not, hey, can I invest crypto? But I know a lot of people that are, and I know a lot of people that have talked about huge transactions, like $50 million piece of land. Now, it didn't come at anything, so I just feel, I think it's a good thing, but it's always like people, they want to sell crypto and not pay like tax, and like, how do they get it into something? And that's where it's just like, man, I'm not a financial advisor for you in that situation. I can help you and tell you what's valuable here and how you can invest your money.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like most of the people that have reached out to me, good for them if they have crypto and it's gone up.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say this too. This happened. Okay, so Trump gets elected.
Mm-hmm.
I start getting phone calls. Hey man, is the market going crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, come on. So, but I do feel like most people think, regardless of and I'm apathetic politically, really don't care. It's one of the reasons I'm here. But I do think that most people interpret it being bullish for the economy. But I personally, so let's go back to like 2021 where things were going like this. I think there's a possibility we get like that in 1 year. And I think it'll be a slow kind of uptick. It's not going to happen like that. But everybody, hey, man, hey.
Okay. Yeah, but the general sentiment is like
bullish. Yeah, no, the big thing is now there's no like excuse of, hey, I'm going to like sit on my butt because I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
There's no uncertainty with it.
Okay.
So I'll say this right here. There's going to be more sales in 2025 than there are in 24.
More than in 23?
I would say probably.
Okay.
I can always delete the video if I'm wrong, right? I don't do that.
11.
Question.